Hey you, have you all ever seen that movie, Why Did I Get Married by Tyler Perry? I've watched it, I've seen it, but that's not what this video is about, okay? This video is about why I read this book, okay? Why did I read this book? Now, if you watched my previous couple videos, I've kind of given when I read the first 4 chapters on New Year's Day to be exact, January 1st, I gave my thoughts 4 chapters in, and now I am finished. It took me about 6.5 hours in the span of 3 days to fully read this book. It's a short read. Listen, it's only about 188 pages, and some pages you're not even at the end. You're not even really going to read. Aston, really again? Hold on. Let me check with my dog. Hold on. Whew. All right, y'all. I'm back. My dog, he sometimes bark if he thinks it's someone at the door or anything, but that's good, right? Because he's alerting us. Woo! Had to do the pat. Sorry. I got the scarf on. It was just one of those days where it's like, I'm going to wear a scarf on the video. I'm going to wear a bun and call it a day, okay? Hopefully I can get my hairstyle how I want to. But back to it. All right. So this book, what did I rate it? I rated this book, honestly, a 3.75. Now, I do have a reading journal, and it's from Wrong, and it looks like this. If you go to, I did do a specific flip through of my reading journal this year. I love this reading journal. It is so awesome. I've been using it. See, I already put my first review, my first book review in my reading journal. I'm someone who likes to write things down in order for me to, any information to really resonate, and I try not to let that be a stumbling block. I don't let that stop me. I do use my devices and things of that nature to quickly log something, take screenshots and things like that. But I do, just for my personal, hobby, well-being, I like to write stuff down. So I did do a book review in my reading journal. I'll most likely will post my review on Goodreads as well. So if you're on there, follow me on Goodreads, Darnaya Darice. First name, middle name. It's not my last name, okay? Darice is my middle name, okay? But I gave it 3.75, and here's why. Did you ask why? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, the title of the video is Why Did I Read This Book? Okay, so I gave it 3.75 because although it did give some good nuggets, had some great quotes in this book, it also gives a good template of what you can follow instead of treating the year as 12 months, like, oh, these are my goals for 365 days and I'm gonna try to accomplish it within that time. This book suggests to make, if you will, smaller attainable goals each quarter, if you will. So every 12 weeks, whenever you start, take the year as the first 12 weeks. So from now to March, I set about 3 goals, specific goals. Now, these are just personal goals. It has nothing to do with my husband, my family, my children. These are just, what does Darnaya want to accomplish in the first quarter of the year personally, besides all the other goals that I have. And so it says, you map it out. So you list your main goal. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3. It suggests keep it to a minimum so you can actually do the task, and break those high value tasks down into weekly goals. So you have high value tasks, low value tasks, and it does emphasize to use what they call the block method, the block time method. So you have a block time about 3 hours for your strategic time block, and that's where you get your high value tasks done that is in line with your overall goal for that first quarter, or those first 12 weeks. And let me show you that. Hold on, let me grab my self-care journal and I'll give you a glimpse. Hold on. All right, I'm allowing y'all to be nosy, okay? This is my self-care journal. I kind of show it on every video. Vegan leather, supposedly, and it's by Plan with Purpose from Amazon. But this is what my thing looks like here. And it's basically you're mapping out your goals and kind of what you will gain from each of those goals within the 12 weeks. And then you list out maybe 3 to 5, at the most 6 points of how, or 6 tasks, specific tasks that is measurable for you to complete in order for each week for those 12 weeks in order to reach that goal. And you put your due date on the side, right? It could be each week, it could be daily, that sort of thing. And so it does give some good nuggets. Now it does mention, as I said in my other video, when I read the first 4 chapters, it does mention that it's going to give you insight or mention things in the book that you've already heard before, or you may have heard before. We don't want to assume, right? It does mention that, but it gets a little fluffy. Now, again, you have to be mindful of what self-help books, personal development books that you read, right? It's not just that you're reading, it's that you're getting quality content from the books you're reading, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, because you can learn a lot from fiction. You can kind of immerse into other lives, other characters and plots, and how to expand your creativity, how to get different perspectives, viewpoints when you're reading fiction. But nonfiction and self-help, you tend to get some fluff at some point, and some books have more fluff than others, and this book does have some fluff. And what I mean by fluff, it's going to repeat itself a lot in this book. It's going to tell you, this is why you use the 12-week year, or the 12-week year does this, and if you're not careful, by the time you get to the end of the book, or as you're getting through part 1, part 2, you're thinking, okay, what is the 12-week, like, okay, get to the point, what is it? And so it kind of the point is execution. The point is right here in front of the book. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. It stresses accountability, and again, it points out on page 46, which is one of my favorite quotes, that accountability is not consequences but ownership. And so a lot of times it does do a good job of highlighting that in the workplace. Even when we hear about accountability, or with our parents growing up, when you think of accountability, you think of consequences, or getting in trouble, or you think of getting reprimanded, or getting embarrassed, whatever it is. And this book does a good job of highlighting that accountability is for ownership. It's for you to take control of what worked, what didn't, and keep score and measure what you're doing so you can adjust. So accountability isn't something negative. It's holding yourself to the goal that you plan to reach by doing the high value task. Another good quote is on page 143, and I wrote it down, and it's, as long as we continue to be victims of our circumstances, we will experience struggle and see others as a threat. Wow. And we know life lives. We know that things happen. We know, if you're a Jurassic Park fan, or what's his name? George Goldblum. I think it's Jeff Goldblum, something like that. He has this line, life finds a way, in that. And yes, that happens, but we don't have to stay stuck. We don't have to fall victim or stay a victim. We can be disappointed. We can be frustrated, but it's like, hey, let's regroup, let's recalibrate. What worked, what happened, how did this lead to it, what could I have done better? So if you, in my past, I've lost a car before. I've got, had to return a car. What could I have done better with my finances? Even when you talk about failed relationships, or relationships that ended, how could I have chosen better, or how could I have been in pursuit of a better partnership? Was this person looking for a partnership? So it's so many ways that you can control what you do. You can control how you respond, and that's both personally and in the professional field. And so part 2 of this book does go into a lot. It is putting it all together. Okay, that's part 2. It does give you examples. It splits it up. So in the first part of each chapter is going to tell you about your individual self, and how to apply, what to look out for. And then it talks about the team. So it goes into if you are part of a business or a company and you have a team or you're a leader of a team, how do you approach that? So it does a good job of that. Again, it could have been 4 stars, but it's a 3 for me. 3, specifically a 3.75, but in my journal I'm just doing specifically 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it worth picking up? Yes. Because why did I read it? I read it because I wanted to start the year off with a bang. I wanted to get as much information as I can. How can I be the most productive? Okay, I got some stuff done last year, but I didn't get enough. Even with YouTube and doing videos for you all, last year I said, oh, I'm gonna go with a bang, and then I slowed down and I got distracted with other things. I was trying to complete other things, and so I had to hone in, or I wanted to hone in, what do I want to get done? How do I want to get it done? How do I want to execute? And this book did a great job of highlighting execution, right? And one of my favorite chapters in here, it's a chapter called Greatest in the Moment. And in that chapter, it talks about how greatness, anyone who has been great in anything, let's take Michael Jordan, let's take Simone Biles, let's take Michael Phelps, which this book talks about Michael Phelps a lot, but anyone who has done something great, inventors, inventions, Carter G. Woodson, James Baldwin, even all of our different ancestors in Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Nina Simone, anything they were great in their field, how did they achieve any level of success? And you have so many others that are successful today. You have examples. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't have examples of what route you could take. Now, the difference maker are the variables. And the variables are, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up? What type of parents did you have? Do you have parents who encourage you to read, to gain more knowledge, to be intellectual, or to hey, it's okay to slack off and let's do this? You know, everything, it has variables, but ultimately you can decide, you can choose, how do you want to be? Where do you want your life to be in this world? And it talks about greatness is not in the results, okay? The awards, the recognition, the accomplishment, that's not where greatness starts. Greatness starts when you decide, when you decide, hey, I'm going to change my habits, or I'm going to upgrade, adjust what I do, and I'm going to get so much done in order to reach my goal. So if your goal is to increase your credit, if your goal is to decrease your debt, if your goal is to get another degree, if your goal is to say, hey, I'm going to read more, I can't afford a degree right now, I'm not going to fill out applications for scholarships, I don't want any more loans, but I do want to increase my knowledge. I do want to increase the skills I have, my level of expertise. Then you can upgrade, read articles, read books, read journals, read reviews, so forth and so forth. Research, okay? You don't have to limit yourself, but it says greatness is in that moment when you decide to do. When you decide to do, and not just do anything, because it breaks down high value tasks and low value tasks. When you decide to start doing more high value tasks throughout each day, and again, you use time blocks. It has strategic time block, which I mentioned earlier. It also has buffer blocks, and it says about 30 minutes or more, however many buffer blocks you need. Start your day with the buffer block, lunchtime, and your day with the buffer block. And buffer blocks are when you check your emails. You do the low value tasks, right? Check your emails, make a few calls, set up meetings, do your administrative tasks, those smaller, busier work things that you need to get done. those are your buffers, and then you have your breakout time where you just fully relax and immerse. And it says about 3 hours per week. Try to get your basically self-care time to yourself where you're able to debrief. But ultimately, getting as much high value tasks done that aligns with you reaching your goal within 12 weeks. And every 12 weeks, set those new goals, set those micro wins for yourself. And ultimately, by the end of the year, you will have several or a few, 4. If you only choose one each quarter, you'll have those micro wins to build you up to a greater win. And again, be mindful that you may not see the results right away, but don't let that deter your energy. Don't start something high value task and say, I'm going to reach this goal. Oh, I haven't reached it in a week. I haven't reached it in a month. Or I don't see any results. No, you have to put the work in, even when you don't want to. So another thing I love, it does highlight that you stay committed. You need to stay committed. Stay committed over your feelings. So when you're feeling tired, get the energy muster up to still get it done, whatever you set your task to be. It gives an example that one person set their task to call their mom Monday through Friday. Very simple, right? And they were able to get it done, even though sometimes it felt like a burden, they said, or sometimes they may not have time, but they made time for it. And ultimately it helped to deepen or strengthen the relationship with their parents. So I did want to read this, and I'll close in this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, let me know what you're reading for 2025 in the comments. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing, and joining the Darnaya Darice crew, okay? Because over here you get lifestyle motivation, all things, anything I do, whether it's you get a little vlog, you may get a little book review video, you may just everything that I do is pertaining to growing, personal development, encouragement, inspiring, and hey, just giving a little laugh, a little smile to your day, all right? But listen to this on accountability, and I'm going to close it out. So accountability is a massive thinking shift. As we've discussed, our society views accountability as consequences. Accountability is not consequences, it's ownership. It is the realization that even though you don't control the circumstances, you do control how you respond. It is the understanding that the quality of your choices determines the quality of your life. I'm Darnaya Darice, and in the meantime, between time, always remember to keep rising.
Just be. Don't take it. Take it. Just don't be.